So, Matt Squad, we are back with a brand new video here, and I'm a little excited for this one here. It's going to be a speed test between the Moto G Power and the Moto G7 Power. Now, this is round two between these two devices. The G Power took the first one. Who's going to get this one? Let's see.
What the?
So, Matt Squad, as you saw in the intro of this video here, this is going to be a rematch between the Moto G Power and the Moto G7 Power. And to get things started, I'm going to discuss the specifications on paper for each device. Starting with the Moto G Power here, we have the Snapdragon 665 inside of this device. It's an octa-core chipset that is clocked at 2 GHz, as you can see there, 2.02 to be exact. But for the GPU, it's going to be the Adreno 610. Now, this device is going to have 4 gigs of RAM and 64 gigs of internal storage. It's going to be running Android 10 with security patch of July 1st, 2020. Now with the Moto G7 Power here, we're going to have the Snapdragon 632 inside. Although it says 636, that's not the correct CPU, it's the 632. And that's clocked at 1.8 GHz. It's going to be an octa-core chipset. And for the GPU, it's going to be the Adreno 506. Now this device is going to have 3 gigs of RAM and 32 gigs of internal storage. And unfortunately, we're going to still be running Android 9 with security patch of June 1st, 2020. Hey Motorola, we're waiting on the Android 10 update anytime now. And so, Matt Squad, as far as the specifications on paper, I'm going to go ahead and give that to the Moto G Power. It has a little bit more RAM, a little bit more internal storage, and it also has a higher power CPU. So it's pretty much an easy one here. Having a score now of 1 for the G Power and 0 for the Moto G7 Power. Let's get to the next part of the speed test. So, Matt Squad, with this next part of the speed test here, what we're going to be doing is application open and RAM management test. And so what I'm going to do is basically open up the same application on each device to see which one can open it faster. And then afterwards, I test the RAM to see which device can hold the applications that we open better in the background. And to get things started, I want to start off here with the Play Store. That goes to the Moto G7 Power. The next app is going to be YouTube. That goes to the Moto G7 Power. The next application we're going to open up here is Amazon. And that goes to the Moto G Power. The next application we're going to open up is Best Buy. And that goes to the Moto G7 Power. Next application is going to be Facebook. I believe that was a tie. Next application we're going to open up is Instagram. That goes to the Moto G Power. Next application we're going to open up here is Twitter. That goes to the Moto G Power. Next application we're going to open up here is Spotify. That goes to the Moto G Power. And so the final application we're going to open up here on each device is Call of Duty Mobile. And that goes to the Moto G7 Power. And so now with this part of the speed test here, we're just going to be testing the RAM to see which device can hold the applications better in the back. So let's get that started here with Play Store. Held by both. YouTube. A refresh on both. Amazon. I'm going to give it to the G7 Power. Best Buy. Refresh on both. Facebook. Held by the G Power. Instagram. Refresh on both. Twitter. A refresh on both.
What?
Spotify. Held by the G Power. And Call of Duty Mobile. A reload on both. So, Matt Squad, when it comes to the application open and RAM management part of the test between these two devices, I'm going to have to give it to the Moto G Power. And that's only because it held the applications better in the background than the G7 Power. Although the G7 Power opened up a few of the applications faster than the G Power. So, with that being said, the score goes 2 for the G Power and 0 for the G7 Power. Let's get to the next part of the speed test. So Matt Squad, with this next part of the speed test here, we're going to be going over the Yatutu benchmark, the Geekbench, and we're also going to run a speed test to see which device can get the faster up speeds and the faster down speeds. To get things started here with the G Power, we got a score of 166,425 for the Yatutu benchmark. And if we look at the G7 Power here, we got a score of 122,358. So you can see clearly like a 42,000 point difference there between each device. So this clearly goes to the Moto G Power. Now, when it comes to the Geekbench here, you can see with the G Power, we got a single core score of 309 and a multi-core score of 1,263. And on the G7 Power on Geekbench 5 here, we got a single core score of 269 and a multi-core score of 1,069. So clearly, the difference is going to be in the single core and the multi-core performance on the G Power, and so it has to take this one as well. So let's go ahead and get to speed test here and see which one of these devices can get the faster data speeds. Now, both devices are on the same Wi-Fi network. I'm going to run one at a time here. We're going to start with the G Power. So looking at the final results here, you can see in the G Power, we got a score of 92 on the down and a 23.4 for the up. While on the G7 Power, we got a down of 57.7 and an up of 22.5. So clearly goes to the Moto G Power here. And it took the Yatutu, took the Geekbench, and it also took the speed test here. So right now it has a score of 3 and the G7 Power has a score of 0. Let's get to the next part of the speed test here and see who can take that one. So Matt Squad, with this next part of the speed test here, what we're going to be doing is the application install test to see which device can install the applications that I throw at it faster than the other. Now I'm going to select 3 of the top applications here from the Play Store, and whoever installs 2 of those 3 faster than the other automatically wins this part of the test. The first application, as you can see there, is Zoom Cloud Meetings, and we're going to get that started here in 3, 2, 1. Who's going to win? That goes to the Moto G7 Power. And so for the next application we're going to have installed here is going to be HBO Max, aka the best application in the world. Don't at me. We're going to have that installed in 3, 2, 1. That goes to the Moto G Power. So being that each device took a W there, each one installed an application faster than the other, we have the second best application in the world, which is WhatsApp. Don't at me. We're going to have that installed here in 3, 2, 1. And that goes to the Moto G7 Power. So with that application install test, what can you say? One device installed 2 of the 3 faster than the other, and that device was the G7 Power. And so as of right now, we have 3 for the G Power and 1 for the G7 Power. Let's go ahead and get to the final part of the speed test here and close the video out. So Matt Squad, with this final part of the speed test, what we're going to be doing is a simple power on and power off test or restart test to see which device can actually power on first. Now, on the channel here, in case you don't know, the G Power notoriously powers on slower than any other phone that I have right now, and the G7 Power is actually kind of fast. So let's see what happens and get this started here in 3, 2, 1. And that goes to the G7 Power. So Matt Squad, with a final score of 3 for the Moto G Power and 2 for the G7 Power, it just goes to show you that the G7 Power is still a capable phone in 2020, although it does not have the Android 10 update, which is supposed to be coming in the near future, but who knows when that'll actually happen. But Matt Squad, let me know in the comment section below, which device did you think was going to win this speed test here? Did you think it was going to be a repeat of the first video? Let me know. And if you're new to the channel here, consider subscribing so that you don't miss any coverage when it comes to budget devices like the Moto G Power and the Moto G7 Power. And Matt Squad, like this video here so that other people just like you can get a little bit more help when it comes to researching budget devices like the Moto G Power and the Moto G7 Power. Plus, you get to see speed test videos like this one here by the twos. And last but not least, share this video with your friends and family and let them know that not all Android cameras suck. It is just not true. But until then, my name is Max Rock. Thank you for watching this video. Have a good day, y'all. Deuces.